Just before I went to law school is when I became a committed Christian. And even though I've been raised in a Christian home, my mother was a very godly woman and I had all the knowledge, but it was just for law school that I finally comprehended the gospel and really became a follower of Christ. When I came home from law school, I was living with my parents for a while I started Peacemaker Ministries. And I was very zealous. I was too zealous. And I was trying really hard to convert my father, who was a retired judge. And it's a little bit hard for a dad to hear from his son things he needs to do. So my dad was skeptical, he was resistant, and I was overly aggressive. And one day we were talking, and I was essentially trying to cram religion down his throat. And I really offended him and spoke disrespectfully to him. And I finally just said, I'm done. And I left the room, went down to my bedroom, and I was wrestling with God, just talking to God. I said, God, I know I was wrong. I shouldn't have been so disrespectful and harsh to my dad. He frustrates me so much. And I know I should go up there and confess to him, but if I do, he's going to think I'm a fool. And I didn't hear an audible voice, but it was as close as you can get. And basically what I heard was, Ken, your dad already knows you're a fool. You just made that very apparent. The question is, does he know that I am in your life and working to change you? And that was a whole different perspective for me, because my indication was to justify myself, vindicate myself, make my case, win what I wanted to win. But the Lord, just through that process of praying and talking with God, was able to help me to humble myself, go up to my dad and say, Dad, I'm really sorry. I was really disrespectful to you. I dishonored you. And my dad began to realize there must be a God. If his son is able to humble himself, admit he's wrong, his proud, arrogant son who knows everything could humble himself and say he's wrong. And he began watching me and seeing me change. And over the next few years, as my dad saw me changing, he realized there was a transforming power in my life. It was a huge lesson for me that I had, up to that point, I thought the way I would lead my father to Christ was by impressing him with how great I was, how perfect I was, how wise I was. And I realized that's not how we draw people to Christ, by glorifying ourselves. And instead, I became more and more transparent about my own struggles, my own weaknesses, my own needs, and then sharing how Jesus was working in me. And my dad saw that. He saw how God was also working in mediation cases, reconciling broken marriages, doing things that as a judge he knew were humanly impossible. You would never see these things come together again. And he more and more saw God being exalted, God's power being demonstrated. And an hour and a half before my father died, he put his trust in Jesus Christ. And I think it was years of just showing God's power, working in our lives, that led him to that point progressively. And I am so deeply grateful.